Let's get started. Welcome and thank you very much for everybody who's decided to attend this. I'm going to really give a very brief overview of your bladder and your bowel, but in fact, I'm going to start with your bowel. And this is very much about your bowel and your bladder. I'll try and keep the technical stuff as little as possible. So some of you may have heard about the Bristol Stool Form Scale. And I thought I'd rather put this up. This is one for children, which appropriately is called Choose Your Poo. And I just wanted to give you a different perspective because it is so important that you look at what you produce. And I rather like the rabbit droppings, the bunch of grapes, and it's American, so it's corn on the cob, sausage, chicken nuggets, porridge, and gravy. Doesn't sound really nice as an adult to think of your poo as a sausage or gravy, but it's very descriptive and descriptive in a different way. And I know that when I see patients and ask them about their bowels, I always bring out my copy of the Bristol Stool Form Scale. And if they really don't know what's happening, what's coming out, it's a big problem because it's hard to know if a person is constipated or has got overflowing continence. So you can choose the adult one, which is exactly the same in terms of the pictures and the descriptions, but obviously doesn't speak about rabbit droppings or sausage. But it's really important that all of you who have a spinal cord injury or affliction know exactly what is coming out. Even if you depend on a caregiver, that's actually even more important, that your caregiver can tell you, today it's a type 4, it's really great, or no, you've got rabbit droppings, it's not good at all. So this is absolutely fundamental. So here we go. We've just had Heritage Day. So I thought, well, let's get how people describe their poo in different languages. Now, very commonly in South Africa, amongst the African population, it's called kaka. That's a common word. In English, we get a variety of words. We get crap, we get shit, we get poo. The medical words are stool and feces. Afrikaans, it's poop. And I did check on this. In Sesotho, it's mantle. And Zulu, it's common, or Xhosa, it's commonly called senzo. So yes, when you go to the doctor, I talk about stool. I don't normally use the word feces. That goes into medical textbooks and things. But I talk about stool. But commonly, in your own language, you will talk about it in a different way. And you mustn't be embarrassed about talking about it, either with your family or with your caregiver and your doctor. It's really, really important. You can use whichever word you like, but just talk about it, please. Now, if you can name every vegetable in this picture, then you're eating the right things. So this is critical. If you're going to look after your bowel for the rest of your life, you've got to eat plenty of vegetables. Similarly, you've got to eat plenty of fruit. And as you notice, the border of my slides, I decided I'm not going to have anything brown. I'm going to make it bright colors so that it really draws your attention. Variety is the spice of life. Please, with your fruits and your vegetables, as much as possible, as often as possible. I know some vegetables, for example, the kiwi fruit is expensive, the limes are expensive, bananas are not expensive, oranges during the season are not expensive. So the basic fruits are not expensive. And in South Africa, we have wonderful fruits, wonderful vegetables. And if you can transition to a plant-based diet, that's even better. And you need lots of this. And it has to be this color. And it must not be that color. Never, please, unless it's a special occasion like a birthday cake or a lovely fresh loaf of bread from the bakery, have some white bread, but please, your routine should be that one, not this one. It affects your bowel function. This picture is actually to show yogurt, because yogurt is a very important provider of good bacteria for your gut. And you can zhuzh up your yogurt with whatever you like, berries, fruit, anything you like, but try and have yogurt every day and try and avoid the sweetened ones because they contain too much sugar and are not really that good. Now, I found this and I thought this was very interesting to really emphasize how much the plant-based proteins can provide for you. On your left-hand side of the screen, it says 100 grams of beef versus 100 grams of beans. And we know that everybody, having just had Braai Day, National Braai Day in South Africa, loves nyama. So both portions, the 100 grams of beef and beans, provide the same quantity of protein. But if you go slowly down, just look how much fiber is in the beans compared to the beef. More iron, more calcium, more magnesium, no cholesterol in your beans. I'm afraid it's in dollars, but it's the same goes for South Africa. It's much cheaper than your beef. And it takes, if you're ecological, it takes much less water to produce 100 grams of beans than it takes to produce the same amount of beef. So I always emphasize to my patients that try and include beans in your diet. You can use them cold, as in salad, or you can, whoever's doing the cooking for you, or if you're doing the cooking, add them to a soup or a stew or a casserole. Really, really important. One word of caution, don't overdo it, because then you could go to the great type of gravy produced at the other end. So you've got to be a little bit cautious, don't overdo it, but it's a fantastic source of protein, as I've just said, plus source of fiber in your diet to keep you working nice and smoothly. I've coined this phrase over the years because I realized I was constantly telling patients the same thing. So I call it the brown diet. Brown bread, as I've just mentioned, brown porridge or cereal, so maltabella or bran flakes, wheat bix, oats and muesli. They're also brown. They don't have as much fiber in as, say, your all bran flakes or your wheat bix. So you can add bran, unrefined bran, which you can buy in any supermarket, brown rice, and I call it brown potatoes, meaning don't take the skins off because the skins have got the fiber in them. So coming back to the picture of the yogurt, your gut microbiome, which is a new word for the life that is inside of your own bowel. It's made up of trillions of bacteria, some fungi and other microbes. Microbes are tiny, tiny organisms. You cannot see them with your naked eye. You need special microscopes. And this gut microbiome, or bacteria particularly, it plays a really important role in your health. It helps to control the way your gut works, your digestion, and it really benefits your immune system and many other aspects of your health. And if there's an imbalance in your gut, recent research is increasingly finding that if your gut is unhealthy, it has a huge impact on other aspects of your health, like weight gain, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, and other disorders. So it's really important. Although you can't see your gut, you can certainly at times feel it and hear it. but you've got to almost reset your thought processes to say, I've got to keep my gut healthy. Because if I keep my gut healthy with a spinal cord injury, it will make me as a whole person feel much better. So there we go. At the very bottom of the slide, I highlighted to support those healthy microbes or healthy bacteria in your gut, eat wide variety of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and fermented foods. There are other fermented foods. You might have heard of kefir. That's one of them, but the easiest one and probably the cheapest one is to get a good quality plain yogurt, chop up some fruit, and you're good to go. Have that every day if you possibly can. Okay, so I'm going to move now on to the kidneys and the bladder. So just a little bit of anatomy. Just like the gut is a processing system for the food that we eat, and then your poo that comes out at the other end, or your stool, is the waste product. The kidneys are smaller factories that take the blood coming from the heart, which has got oxygen in it, and goes to the two kidneys on either side. And the kidneys are a much smaller factory to clear out toxins or products in your bloodstream that have come from what you eat and what you breathe in and what medications you take, and recycle it and then produce urine that goes down the ureter to your bladder and outside via your urethra. I'm very pleased I didn't get interested in renal medicine. It's complex. It involves a lot of numbers. And again, you don't think about your kidneys very much. You can't feel them. You can't see them. They can cause you big problems if you have a spinal cord injury, if you get kidney stones, and that blocks the urine coming out. That is one of the problems. But what I'm going to emphasize now is to keep your kidneys in good health is very, very important when you have a spinal cord injury. And remember, it's a filtration system. So coming back to Heritage Day again. And again, forgive me if my pronunciation's not correct. Umkamo is in Xhosa and Zulu. Moroto is Sesotho. And in English, we have a variety of words for it. Pee, wee, piss. And the fundamental one in the medical world is the urine. There isn't another word for it. So we must use the right word and be familiar with it. Now, some people seem to think they can alter the pH in their body, in their blood. You can't do that in your blood unless something dangerous happens to you. You can't voluntarily alter the pH in your blood. If you're involved in a huge accident, for example, and there's a lot of damage in your muscles and your bones and your internal organs, that will alter the pH, and that's a very unique situation. However, we often talk about the stomach being acidic. Yes, it is. It's, as you see, its pH is very low. On the scale at the bottom, the stomach acid is number 1. It's very, very acid. And then it gradually increases through vinegar, through coffee, and water is neutral. And then you get your baking soda, your ammonia, and your bleach is very alkaline. So you may have been advised previously or currently to make your urine more acidic. And the reason we do that, as the doctor's looking after you, is because it's just, there is some evidence that an acidic urine inhibits the growth of bacteria. It's not like it's penicillin will cure this infection. The evidence is not as strong as that, but it's certainly taking vitamin C or drinking pure cranberry juice is not going to harm your health. And that's why there is reasonable evidence that it's a good thing to do. And fortunately, it's a reasonably cheap thing to do. So you want to aim for keeping your urine a little bit more acidic. That doesn't mean drink vinegar, because you wouldn't really manage that, although some people do drink apple cider vinegar as a drink. You can mix it with water. Note that coffee might affect the pH of your urine, but again, you've got to be careful drinking too much coffee, because it's a bit of a diuretic and make you pass more urine. So the most important thing in your habits is water, and adding some vitamin C or cranberry may make a difference. So there we go, the ubiquitous glass of water. And that should be your primary liquid that you focus on drinking every day. Which brings me to this slide where, as you see, water has a tick. Fruit juice, no. Fizzy drinks, no. Alcohol, no. But we all have habits. Prior to your spinal cord injury, you had your habits of the way you would drink things without really thinking about it. And I'm not a dictator. I'm not in your home every day and shouting at you if you have some fruit juice or you have the occasional fizzy drink or the occasional beer or glass of wine. What I'm trying to say is water should be your primary drink, a minimum of 2 liters from the time of waking up to the early evening, and then you should drink only if you're thirsty. I'll come back to that in just a second. Just let's talk about fruit juice for a moment. If you want to have some fruit juice, please have it diluted. The reason being that the fruit juice is full of sugar, and for your general health, that is not very good. Fizzy drinks are a problem because of the gas. The gas doesn't affect your urine production, but the gas can affect your bowel function and make distension in the bowel and make you uncomfortable and make you pass more gas than is really necessary. Alcohol is obviously can be a problem, although it's very nice to have a glass of something or a bottle of something in the evening. Many spinal cord injured persons are taking medications, and quite a few of those medications work on the brain. So the combination of those medications and alcohol is a big no. And again, I'm not a dictator. You have to find, if you want to drink some alcohol and you were previously drinking a lot, you'll have to find a better level of drinking alcohol and be cautious about it. Again, we're human beings. We have celebrations, we have birthdays, weddings, Christmas, New Year, whatever. And the occasional alcohol is not going to harm you at all. But water, I come back to it, water, you can add things to it. Lemon, there's your lemon juice. That also helps to acidify the urine. And you can add any fruit. You can slice cucumber. You can put fresh herbs in it. You can make it, alter the flavor so that it's not just water every day. If you want to do that, some people are quite happy with water. And I usually advise my patients, don't drink out of a glass or a cup. You knock them over. You don't know how much you've drunk. Have what's easy for you. And probably easiest is a 500 ml bottle that's easy to open and close, and you know you've got to drink 4 of those in your waking day. And again, you don't normally, when we go to sleep at night, our bodies are not designed to be drinking throughout the night, particularly not large quantities. If you need to wake at night to turn or to have pressure relief or to empty a catheter or to catheterize, and you feel thirsty, by all means, drink some water, but you don't have to drink the volume at night. Drink it during the day. It makes life much simpler as well. So I thought I'd end on this rather nice little photograph of a 105-year-old who was sharing her advice. For better digestion, I drink beer. In case of appetite loss, I drink white wine. In case of low blood pressure, I drink red wine. In case of high blood pressure, I drink scotch. When I have a cold, I drink schnapps. When do you drink water? I've never been that sick. So I just thought, just pop that in to make you smile a little bit. You are not sick. You have a spinal cord injury. Those of you attending who have spinal cord injuries, you have a spinal cord injury. So I've really focused this little presentation on why it's so important to keep your bowel healthy, because a healthy bowel and a well-functioning bowel impacts on your bladder health. And again, more and more in recent literature and meetings that I've attended, the agreement amongst those of us who look after spinal cord injury is if the bowel is sluggish, and it is anyway when you have a spinal cord injury, and you're not encouraging it or assisting it to work regularly, that impacts on your bladder health, and you can have more urine infections. So please, I hope this brief overview has given you some insight into how to maintain a healthy bowel and a healthy bladder.